Hi everyone, I'm a little bit early, but I've just got to get on so I can change my settings on this. I find it easier to do it yes, I find it easier to do it when I'm on live. Just got to get back out of there. I never know quite how to do it. Okay, our writing the right way around. I'm just going to shut this blind a little bit because we've got a bit of light coming in. Okay, how's everyone's week been? Hi Shirley, how are you? Tonight I'm excited to share another one of our new stamp sets, Let It Ride. I'm not a horse person, I've never ridden a horse, but I love looking at horse pictures and that. So I got this one because I've got a friend that loves horses and I wanted to make a card for that person. So I looked at all my stamps that I had in my selection, which is lots, and picked out some background stamps. Now background stamps, like this marble one, is absolutely beautiful. You can get great effects off here. And we also have our Crackle Paint one, which is in our new occasions catalogue. This one's in our annual catalogue. We also have our postscript, which is also in our occasions catalogue. And I'm just sharing some of the background stamp sets with you tonight because they're just absolutely beautiful and we don't use them enough, or I don't think we use them enough. Hi Narelle. So I'm just sharing some of them with you that I have in my selection, which is quite a few. I haven't got them all out. I love this handwritten one too. We're not using that one tonight, and I love the music one, but we're not actually using that one tonight either, but just so you can see that we have them. Now these are big stamps, and tonight we're going to use, if we get time, we'll use the postscript and we'll use the new Crackle Paint if we get time. But tonight I want to use the marble, and I want to show you how to do watercolouring and using the brush-o paints and the watercolour pencils as well. So let's get started, hey? Well, we'll give it a couple more minutes and then we'll get started. So I'll just talk a little bit more. So don't forget we have a celebration on at the moment and our beautiful new occasions catalogue. Now I did send out a whole heap the other day, waiting for my second batch to come from Stampin' Up at the moment, but at the moment they're in a changing their warehouse, so there's no orders going out this week, but next week we'll be back on track. So if you haven't received one and you'd like one, please leave a comment that you'd like a catalogue and private message me your address so I can post it out to you. I'm more than happy to do that. Don't forget we still have our beautiful annual catalogue. This still goes through until June next year, so this is really lovely. So we're using some stamps out of all of them tonight, so I am going to go down so we can get started. People can catch up, so if you come on and I don't actually say hello, it's not because I'm ignoring you, it's because when my camera's down on here I can't actually see the screen. So let's get started. So I'm using just a Whisper White piece of card. This is not watercolour card tonight, it's just normal cardstock. It's the thin one, not the thick white. So we're going to actually spray it with a bit of water. Now that's why I've got the silicone mat underneath it, just so I can spray it with a bit of water. Now we're going to add the brush-o, I should say, sorry, and I don't open mine up, I just buy these little stopper pins from the newsagents or the cheap shop and just put a hole in the top and just pop it in, because it's a very fine powder, as you can see, and as you're adding it, it will spread, so you can sort of see how that works. The paper curls up a little bit because it's wet, but that's all right. We're just going to hold it down a little bit and do a little bit more spray on that. Okay, and then I'm just going to add one more colour, which is like a mossy green colour. I want that greeny colour. Okay, so we'll just pop this in. Now every time you do a card with the Brusho, it will be different because you're never going to get two the same. Doesn't matter how hard you try, it's just not going to happen. Now you can sort of see that that's starting to... Now it is wet and we're going to be working on it wet. So, okay. So I'm just going to pop that over there for a minute and get some paper towel because it does make a little bit of mess on your silicone mat, but it does save, silicone mat's really easy to wipe up. Okay. So I'm going to bring that back and we're going to use the stamp, which is the marble one, which I really love. And I haven't taken the back off mine either. I'm not actually going to put this onto a block. I'm just going to add the ink to it. Now there's two ways you can do this. You can do it exactly how I have done it that way, or you can also add it all onto the stamp here and then stamp it on that way. There's two ways that you can use that Brusho. So I'm just going to show you the other way. So we'll just put that way aside, that bit aside for a minute. Once again, just another piece of cardstock. I want to show you a couple of ways because there's no right or wrong. So the other way is just bringing the water down onto your stamp and then adding your Brusho to your stamp. Yeah, so there's no right or wrong. Now you have to be really gentle when you're using this Brusho because it is fine and you don't think you're putting it on, but you really are. And the one thing you don't want is like a big blob of horrible mess at the end, which can happen when you're using a darker colour like this moss green. Okay, now every time you do this, it will be, like I said, different. Okay, so then you just place your cardstock on top of this one and your silicone mat over the top and then press down. So this is just adding the Brusho, letting it sink into the paper, the cardstock. So that's the two ways that you can do it. Now it looks a little bit blotty, but that's okay because I like to make sure that I sort of cover the paper a little bit. It will give it a very different effect. Now I'm just going to blot off with the silicone mat and a little bit of paper towel. So you can sort of see the two very different contrasts of your images, but we're still going to work on both of them. We're going to do them both. Now, lots of people freak out if they don't get it over the whole of their card. You don't need to. There's no that you have to do that. Now, I'm just going to clean my stamp because we want to ink it up and use it. Okay, and I'm just blotting it off with paper towel, just for the moment. Then I'm going to use the soft suede ink. So we'll do the first one that we did first. We're going to do that one. Okay, now when you do your ink pad, you will get lines. So if you don't want the lines, give it a bit of a rub and rub the lines out. And then press down and rub the lines. Okay, so this is really lovely. So we're going to pop this one on. Now this is still wet, but that's fine. We're going to bring our silicone mat back over the top. You can use paper towel if you don't have a silicone mat, but I just like using the silicone mat. And we're just going to press that down. And then we're going to lift that up. And you can sort of see the beautiful swirls that you have in that from the marble. and the colour that's going to pop out behind it. So once again, we're going to come in with a soft suede. And because it's a big stamp, you don't want lines, so just very lightly wave the stamp across it. Now this one's wet as well, so we're going to pop this one on as well. Our silicone mat down, I'm just going to use the other side of the silicone mat. Probably get it all over my hands, but that's okay. And I just find this a little bit more gentler than the block, pressing down on the block. Okay, so but there's no right or wrong. Like I said, there's no right or wrong now. I'm just going to wash that stamp off with my chamois. My chamois is well used, as you can see, but that's okay. That's what they're meant for, aren't they? To clean your stamps. When I wash my chamois, it's quite amazing. All that black stays in there. It just doesn't come out. It's really amazing. I've had that one from Word Dot. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp out in Memento Black the horse. It's going to give you a very different sort of effect. Now work out which way you want your shapes. It doesn't really matter, but I'm going to have this one going, them going up like this. And then you pick out which stamp you want. So we'll use two different stamps on this, I think. Now these are the new cling wraps. Now with the cling wraps, when I put them in, I make sure I also put in and keep this bit of paper in. Now I haven't done all of them because I've been sharing with people how to add the stamp to a cling, so the cling image. So I might share with that if I get a bit of time tonight. I might show you how to do that. These are really clingy, so you need to be mindful that they cling to the block really well, which I do love, really do love. Okay, you can sort of see that using the yellow and the mossy green and the red, it's come up with like a brownie effect, but that's okay because we're going to use brown to do our horse. So this is wet, so we're going to stamp our horse directly onto that. Now you can see, you'll get that image. Now I'm going to stamp the horse also onto the other one. Oh, we're going to do a different horse, I think. We'll do the horse's head on this one. It's really lovely too. Okay. Sorry, I'll just grab the horse's head out of here. And we might be able to bring a few on that. I haven't quite worked or played with these yet, so let's give it a go. Well, let's put one in the middle because then we can actually stamp it out if we want, use a die cut if we want to around it. Okay, so we've stamped it in the Memento Black. Then we're going to actually use our brown pencil. That one's crushed curry, I want brown. So I'm just going to use the Early Espresso pencil, and I'm going to start colouring. And because it's wet and these are watercolour pencils, you're going to start getting a very nice watercolour image on your horse. It's going to be really different to colour with. It's not dry colouring. You're actually doing it on wet paper, and it's just our normal card paper. It's not actually the watercolour paper. Now the thing that I like about this is that you can bring in some highlights by using what's on there. A lot of people do the dry painting with this, so if you wanted to do the dry painting, you would stamp your horse out in Early Espresso so it all blends and you can put your own markings in. But just so you can sort of see what I'm doing tonight, I'm going to do it on here. Now it's got some beautiful highlights up here on the face, so I want to keep those little white markings up there because I think they're quite nice on here. So just don't forget to add a little bit of colour through the mane and the tail. So we'll colour this leg in. We don't want to leave one leg different. So it's really very, very simple colouring in tonight. Just do a little bit of dark under here. Okay, so the horse's head stands out. It's really lovely. Then I'm just going to use a little bit of the basic black for the hoofs down here, for the shoes. And you will notice a difference colouring in on wet paper. So we've got our first one, which looks amazing. When it dries off a bit, you can do a framelit around it or put it onto a card. So I'll just pop that one over there to dry. Now with this one, we're going to come in with, it's called crushed curry. So I'm going to actually bring a bit of crushed curry into this one. It's more like a yellow to start off with, and then I'll come in with the brown over the top of it. Okay, and then we'll come in with the brown. You can see how nice and smooth the pencil goes on because it's wet. And watercolour penciling is amazing if you can pick up the right way of doing it. And I just love leave a little bit of highlight on that around the eyes, and just come down around the image here, and just blend it out so it doesn't look like it's just stuck there. Okay, so we'll just use a bit of crushed curry in there too. So you can sort of see the two very different types of colouring in with the horses and the background, how beautiful the background is. Now we do have to put these aside to dry. So I'm going to share with you another background one that I did a little bit earlier. And this was using an embossing folder. But if you're using the embossing folder, I'd definitely stamp out either a circle or an oval like this and pop on it, because it would be very hard to stamp on the image because it's raised up. I do have people ask me, can you? And you probably can with some of them. It'll give it a very different effect. So you can either bring in the oval or you can bring in the circle. So let's quickly do a circle, and we'll use the head. And you'll see the difference in the colouring, because this is dry technique, not a wet technique. So this is dry. So you'll sort of see when you're actually colouring with the pencil, it will be a little bit different. I like to get a flat end on my pencil, so you'll sort of see that it looks different. But you can use your stamping blender pen and blend. Now the good thing about when you're doing your colouring, you don't want to try to take forever to colour. You want to make it look like a bit of a painting, so you want to yeah, be a bit on that more rough side than gentle side to get that effect, because a horse's coat's not smooth. Now if you want to highlight up darker areas, more pressure on the pencil, you sort of can actually come in with a bit more pressure on the pencil and it will come in a bit darker, so we can highlight these areas up. And sometimes I like a bit darker around the mouth area, fading in to a lighter colour on the face. How's everyone's week been? It's been funny weather for us, hasn't it? Really hot and really cold, and one day you got the heater on, the next day you got the air conditioner on. So, and it's summer. So this is a really, really, really lovely way of colouring. Now, if you wanted to add a bit of the crushed curry in, you can. You can add a bit of that in as well. And it will just two-tone it a little bit for the horse. Okay, so we'll leave it at that for tonight, and we'll stick this on our scallop. Now these are the circles that are in the thinlet dies, and you use them with your big shots, and you've got your circles and your scallop circles all in one, which is really lovely. Now that will look really lovely then coming out onto this beautiful tiled embossing folder. Now you can use dimensions to dimension it up, or you can use just got to work out which way you want the head. And we can mat that on a piece of black as well, which will makes the tiles pop up. Now it's a little bit buckled because it was wet, but it's dried off now. I did this one earlier so we can save a bit of time, and it will dry off. So really quick, pop that on there. You can put some words on here, but like I said, I don't put lots of words on when I'm demonstrating because I never know whether I want happy birthday or a get well, and this one could be for any male or female. Great mail card for Easter or whatever. You don't have to have bunny rabbits is what I was trying to say. This is also was done with the brush while it was wet, and it was done on the card. You can do it within your embossing folder as well. So I would actually then matte black inside with some white so I could write on it. But looks really lovely like that. So let's quickly do another one because we're doing backgrounds, so I want to try to get as many different backgrounds done. This is the Crackle Paint. And this is our new one in our occasions catalogue. It's really lovely. So we can come into that with, might use the sepia as well. And just come down over it. Now you can use your big block, like I said, but because I'm using a lot of them tonight, I'll be pulling off and on. I just like doing it this way with the silicone mat over the top. Whoop, I might get me clean silicone mat because that one's got ink already. Okay, just press down on it, and voila, you've got your beautiful Crackle Paint effect. How gorgeous is that? It's really gorgeous. Now you can do this as light or as dark as you want, and you can actually put your horse in an oval, like I was saying before, or a circle. Where did I put that oval? I'm going to use it. Here it is. So I'm going to stamp out, let's do the whole horse. Where's our horse? Here. Now when you take these ones off, just very gently lift them up because the cling ones do really cling to your block. So you have to be a little bit careful. Hello to anyone that's come on. Sorry I'm not saying hello as we go, but I can't actually see the screen and my iPad's just not wanting to work. It keeps knocking me off Facebook tonight, so I can't see who's coming on. So I'm just going to actually stamp up this one in the oval. And just press down and you've got your horse there. Now you can place it wherever you want. There's no right or wrong, which is quite cute. So I've done this one in the Memento Black. And once again, we're just going to come in and colour. Maybe with a different brown. Have I got a different brown? Yeah, we've got a light brown here, so I can use this one. So once again, just come in and colour, just be a little bit mindful of, it is watercolour pencils, so we're going to this time blend with our blender pen. So I'll show you that in just a minute. So we're just going to bring on some colour. People go, "You colour crazy, Teresa." I probably do. Probably do colour crazy, but they always look amazing at the end, and that's all that counts, is the final effect. So this is a blender, and they're wet on both sides. So just be mindful when you're storing your blender pen that you store them horizontal this way, because if you store them up like this one will dry out, and all the moisture will go to the bottom one. So you can sort of see that you've got your blender pen here, and you can blend this right in. It's a really, really great way of colouring. Okay, we'll come down his legs. Has anyone used the blender pen? Put a comment for me if you like the blender pens. You know, if you've used them before. Okay. I love that I'm getting a lot of demonstrators on watching my videos too, so please feel free to share what I do at your classes. I think it's really lovely that you can share things. So we're going to use a little bit of this for the main, and you can come in a bit heavier to get that heavier pencil mark. So we're going to just come down a little bit heavier in on the muscle here of the horse, a little bit over this side of the muscle, and down a little bit down here, and some in the back here, down the legs. And you can sort of see that you can actually then blend this back in a little bit darker. Now you've got to remember with the blender that you're using normal paper, cardstock here, so don't get it too wet. Blend lightly because the paper will peel, and you don't want your paper peeling. So just remember to blend a little bit lighter on your plain cardstock. Watercolour paper's fine, but plain cardstock you really need to do it a bit lighter. Okay, so you can sort of see that it's quite nice. I'm just going to do dark brown hoofs. You can do whatever colour you want, black. These ones are painted brown. Okay, now you can add some grass in there and other things too. We're running out of time, we're always running out of time, so I'm just going to be quick because I want to do one more for you if I can. There's another background. Okay, so we'll just pop that in there, and you can sort of see they're very quick cards. Now if you bring it up a little bit, you can actually put some writing down the bottom, and I did make a few earlier, so I'll share them with you towards the end, because we're not going to get to put writing on these ones today, right now, because I want to share one more background with you. Okay, so we're just going to pop this on a card, and I love that we have the soft suede cardstock as well. It's absolutely beautiful. Use your bone folder, and it all matches in really well. Now I'm going to actually put a black mat behind that as well, just to make it pop out a little bit more. I like things to pop, and I think the black always makes your cards, that matte always makes it pop up. Okay, so don't feel like you're wasting cardstock, you're not. Now 99% of the time I'll cut my mat out, and I'll cut my black oval out of the centre here, and then place this over the top, because we're not actually, you're not going to actually see the oval cut out of there. Now that way you can save on a bit of cardstock. But unfortunately I already had cut some ovals out of scraps, so we're just using them tonight. And we just place this in here. So you can sort of see you can get a really nice with the coloured pencils, and that's just dry compared to the wet one which we did earlier. Okay, I'm just going to pop that between two stamps to hold it down. So that was the Crackle one. Now the other one is this posted script and that I really love, and I'll just share that one with you because we're going to do a bit of sponging on this one. So there's different little techniques with using the brusho, using sponging. Yeah, so you can do it all in different colours. So we'll just go with the soft suede again because I've got that right in front of me. Okay, we're just going to ink it up. Like I said, they go on the big blocks, and to just save time peeling on and off, because I find with the cling stamps or with that they just take a little bit longer, so I just use my silicone mat over the top. It's your choice. So you can sort of see this is really lovely as well. It's got like the scripts on it and that, so I find this really lovely. So we're going to use a lemon lime twist because our new celebration paper has got lemon lime twist in it, and we're going to use Pool Party as the blue. So I'm just going to find a bit of sponge here with the blue, and I don't normally do it on my ink pad, but this one's very dry. So we're just going to come in and sponge this. We might just go a fraction over time tonight, but that's okay. I just want to share a little bit more with you on the backgrounding, because these background stamps are amazing. You can use them with so many different stamp sets. I'm just using it with the horse, and you wouldn't think of using this postal one with the horse, or the Crackle one you would, but some of the others you might not. So I've just got to get another sponge here. And I'm just using the lemon lime twist down the bottom here. It's that beautiful light green. How gorgeous is that green? It's really bright, and it's probably out of my comfort zone because I actually like more neutral colours, but that's okay. I want it because I want it to blend in. You can add more blue, less blue, whatever you like on that. I'm going to map that on the black. So I do take the time to cut the cardstock out before our online because it takes time to do all that. Okay, so we've got that on there, which is really lovely. And then I've just, I had some of these scraps and I always like to think, well, can we use the scraps? So we're going to use the scraps. And I just love the little horses here. Well, aren't they cute? And the trees. So we're going to add them onto this little card. I know that sounds a bit funny, but we are. Okay, so we've got our little horses down the bottom here. And they're going to, make sure you get the head. So yeah, we're going to get the head in there. So we've got the horses down the bottom there. And then we're going to add the trees towards the top. Now the reason I'm going to add one end and one the other end is because I want to pop some ribbon as well. And we're going to go in here. So we've got our little horses here and the trees. So we'll just put the memento away. So we're going to come in and sponge again. So this is just like a real sponging technique to go with this. So we're going to put the blue on the sky. Just make sure your ink is dry. Yep. So we're just going to come in with a bit of blue in here, which is really lovely. And you can do it as light or as dark as you want. You can add 1 or 2 layers of sponging. You can add more, but I'm just doing it really briefly tonight, just to give you an idea. And our beautiful green is going to go through here and down here. So you can colour your horses in as well, which I'll colour mine in later because I'll colour mine in later because you can see the time is going fast. So we can colour our horses in. So we just nail this onto our black card here. Now, mind you, these were little scraps, and sometimes your little scraps you can match up, which is really, really lovely. So we're going to use this beautiful green ribbon. Okay, so we're going to cut some of that off. We're going to quickly tie this around here. I hope you can see what I'm doing. I'm in the right spot. Do a little bow. Oh. Come on, come on. This is where we need little fingers. Sorry, I'll just get this bow working. Now, when you actually get your bow on, I then bring it around the back. When you're happy to where it is, bring it around the back, add a little bit of snail, and then pull your ribbon in tight on both sides. So you might have a little bulge at the back, but it will bring it nice and tight on the front. Then you can add snail or you can add dimensions. But I'll just do snail tonight because... And we can just bring this in here. Just cut our ribbon on a slight angle. I should have grabbed my sharp scissors, but that's okay. So you can sort of see that's nice. You can add the ribbon around here as well if you wanted to, and then just add it to your suede card. Okay, let's go up. Hello everyone. Hi Melissa. Hi Karen. So I hope a lot of people come on tonight because this is a really great technique. This was our beautiful horse done with our marble background with our Crackle Paint, so you can sort of see. And the other Crackle Paint one I did earlier, I did in light and I didn't mat it up. I did it on white card and a different colour horse, so you can sort of see the difference. Okay. Also using the circles, which is really beautiful. And on my other one that I have done here, sorry, is our little horse. And this is one I did earlier today, lighter again. And then this is one of the horses that's actually dried off. So when it dries, you can sort of see it gives a beautiful background, and that's with the marble and the this one I did the brusho on the stamp and then stamped the ink over the top. Yeah, so that's really lovely. So I really hope you enjoyed backgrounding. Now next week, I have been asked to share a few of the cards that I've been putting online, and I'm happy to do that, but I've just got them coming up in classes first, and once I've done the classes and the people have actually had their turn at doing it, I'll share some tips and ideas of how I did those cards also. So I hope you enjoyed tonight and have a great week, and I'll see you all next Thursday night. Bye.